Before we proceed further, request you to please subscribe to our channel as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. Today we will cover one more important planetary transit. So we know that on 14th Jan 2022, Sun entered the sign of Capricorn. And now Sun is going to move into the Sravan Nakshatra on 24th January 2022. And in the process, Saturn is already in Sravan Nakshatra. So the Sun will meet Saturn in the Sravan Nakshatra from 24th Jan 2022 to 6th Feb 2022. So let us see the impact of this conjunction on the world in general. So in this figure, you can see that Sun and Saturn are together in the sign of Capricorn. Saturn is in Sravan Nakshatra, 4th Pada right now. And Sun enters the Sravan Nakshatra on 24th January 2022. And Sun further enters the 4th Pada of Sravan Nakshatra on 3rd Feb 2022. And he finally exits the Sravan Nakshatra on 6th Feb 2022. So the time from 24th January 2022 is a period when Sun is in close conjunction to Saturn. Now first, what is the sign of Capricorn or Makar all about? The sign of Capricorn or Makar represents the government, it represents status, it represents hierarchy, it represents discipline, it represents authority, it represents hard work. The sign of Capricorn or Makar is ruled by Saturn. Now when Sun has entered into Saturn's house, he is bound by these rules, which means that the Sun, who is the king, has to work hard, has to be disciplined. So the Sun, the king, meets the common people, that is Saturn. Saturn represents the masses, Saturn represents the common people. So this is a situation where the king is entering into the house of common people. The next thing is Sun enters the Sravan Nakshatra. What is the Sravan Nakshatra all about? The Sravan Nakshatra is represented by the human ear or by 3 footprints, which represents Lord Vaman, and the ear represents learning through listening. Sravan means to understand something through listening. And therefore the king now listens to the grievances of the common people. The king has to understand the troubles of the common man. Sun also represents our soul. Sun is the Atma Karaka. Saturn is our karma. And therefore this is a point where the soul has to meet the fruits of its karma. That is, we as individuals may have to pay for our past sins also. So this signifies a time where the king or the government is forced to listen to the grievances of the common man. Sun also represents our ego. Saturn represents limitations, represents restrictions. So this conjunction tells the government or the king to forget his ego and start serving the common man or the masses. Now Sun represents the universal father. Saturn is the child of the Sun. And both have very contrasting views. One represents light, other represents darkness. One represents heat, other represents cold. So this conjunction can often cause friction between the father and the son. And especially because this is the sign of Capricorn, which represents work, which represents karma. Due to our past karma, this conjunction can cause friction between father and the son. The conjunction also results in the creation of a Pitru dosh in the horoscope temporarily. And therefore, what this means is, We need to remember our ancestors. We need to serve our ancestors and do good deeds in their name. So, on the right hand side, you can see a person worshipping his ancestors or his pitras. And therefore, when Sun meets Saturn in Sravana Nakshatra, it is a very good time to remember our ancestors, to worship them, and to do donations in their name. Sun has entered the sixth house from where it rules. That is, Sun rules the sign of Leo, and Capricorn or Makar is sixth from Leo. The sixth house represents debts, represents diseases, represents loans, and Saturn represents our karma. So, this is a time to pay our karmic debts, especially the debts to our ancestors. So, the best way is to worship our ancestors, to do food donations in their name in this time period, that is till 6th Feb 2022. Sun also represents our immunity. Saturn represents limitations, represents decay, represents old age also. Saturn is a very slow moving planet, and therefore this is a time when our immunity can suffer in a big way if we do not take the right steps to safeguard ourselves. Sun is also the boss. Saturn represents the common man. He represents servants. He represents subordinates. And when Sun is at a lower degree than Saturn, Sun is slightly more powerful. That is, your ego is more powerful in that time period. And that is when you should avoid getting in conflict with your bosses. Once Saturn comes at a lower degree than the Sun, Saturn will make us control our ego, and Saturn makes us more mature. So when Sun moves beyond the fourth pada ahead of Saturn, we become more mature by the time the Sun exits the sign of Capricorn. The real effects of this conjunction are felt when Sun is between 8 and 15 degrees from Saturn. However, if the Sun and Saturn separation is less than 8 degrees, then Saturn becomes combust. Remember, Sun is a very hot planet. So when any other planet comes in close conjunction to the Sun, that planet becomes combust, which means that when Saturn and Sun are within 8 degrees of each other, Saturn will become combust. And therefore, the significations related to Saturn will not be very effective in that time period. Now, both Sun and Saturn aspect the sign of Cancer or Kark, and therefore, Kark Rashi will experience contrasting emotions in this time period. Remember, Saturn and Sun are opposite ideals, and when they aspect the sign of Cancer, which represents our emotions, it creates a lot of emotional imbalance, it creates a lot of stress. So, this is a time when you need to consciously control your emotions and avoid saying something which you might regret later, because you can see Mercury and Pluto are also present with Sun and Saturn. Now, because Mercury represents the stock market, Sun and Saturn represent opposing powers. It means there will be fluctuations in the stock market. Pluto is the planet of transformation, and therefore Pluto can bring about lot of transformation in the government structures, in the judiciary, in the laws in this time period, because right now Sun, Saturn and Mercury are present with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn also represents laws and the government, and Pluto represents complete transformation or change through destruction at times. So the short message of this transit is first to control our ego. Do not argue with your bosses unnecessarily. Second thing, worship your ancestors. Worshipping your ancestors will give you their blessings in this time period. Third thing is this conjunction can make you more mature because Saturn is slow moving. Sun represents the ego and Saturn imposes limitations on the ego. So it makes you more mature, more wise, and it makes you face the reality of life. So friends, if you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to my channel Kamath Astrology, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. For any consultations, email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. You can also reach us through our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.